Today, welcome to my channel, and I am going to attempt to make the Caraway blouse. So I have my pattern all ready to go, except for an alteration I'm going to make. So as you can see, I have red. Unless you're one of those smart people and just print out your own size. But I always like to look at the pattern, look at the measurements, and because this blouse is very loose, I think it has about, according to the finished, to your measurements, there's about at least 10 inches of ease in it. So it's going to be a voluminous, I can't say that word, blouse. So this is from Mood Patterns, and I usually have good luck with them. Now they changed the person who does their PDFs, or they changed it a little bit. So when I put it together, I did it wrong. I think it's because I'm left-handed and I look at things backwards. Anyway, I think I did it right, so here's hoping. Anyway, so with this blouse, there's a drawstring. So, of course, as always, I don't want to do it the way everybody tells you to do it. So I'm going to add shearing. So because I'm going to add shearing instead of a drawstring, I want to make sure the blouse is long enough. So what I did was I measured, because the blouse starts somewhere here. And because I don't even know if I cut out the right size, I'm going to measure from underneath the arm, because I know this is going to be in the general area of under my arm. So from under my arm to my waist is 11 inches. So when I measure that on, I think I already have it marked on this one. I'm making lots of noise. So there's where the 11 inches is, and that's where the drawstring would be. And where it's elastic, it's going to pull up. So it's going to be somewhere up here when I'm wearing it. And my waist is way down here. So there's no lengthen or shorten lines on here. So I'm going to cut it at the top of the drawstring and drop it. And I'm going to add that much difference, plus maybe an inch after I drop it. So what are we? So that's only 1.25 inches. No, I'm lying. That's almost 3 inches. So I'm going to add 4, because I'm going to add some shearing. That might not even be enough. Actually, see how long this, because I would like the blouse to be a little bit longer. So that's 16 inches to here. Yes, so without the elastic, it's going to be here. So if I add another 4 inches, it should end up to be around here by the time I'm done. We'll see. Maybe I'll add 5 just to be, because I've never done shearing before either. So there's only what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I'm not going to cut the drawstring because, or the casing, the elastic casing where the drawstring goes, because I'm not going to use it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 pieces. Now the sleeve is a big sleeve, and my arm measures 23 to my wrist, and the actual blouse sleeve for the pattern with an inch measures 30. So I might not add any lengths. Well, that's with an inch added. So hopefully you would think that would work out, wouldn't you? So I'm definitely going to move the drawstring where I'm going to start my shearing at, and I'm going to add that amount because the shearing's going to pull it up. I think that that's going to work. I hope. If not, you'll be the first to know. And I'm going to use this fabric. I've had it for a long time. I hope there's enough here. It's like a really cranberry dark red. It's showing up a lot lighter on the screen, and it's just a crinkle crepe. So it should be good to try this. It should be good to try this out with because it's nice and drapey, and I don't know, we'll see. So I haven't even read the directions yet for cutting this, or for sewing this together. I gotta get it cut out first. But because the pattern looks like this, it's good to go along with the colored marker or whatever to make sure that you're cutting out the correct size. So I'm going to get this cut out. I think I changed from what I originally told you. I don't even know because I don't know what I'm doing. So I measured from here to my waist is 11. So then I thought, well, it would make more sense to just draw a line across there. And I added 5 inches because I'm going to add shearing. And I don't want it to be too short. I would like it to be long. So, or at least go to here. So we'll see if that works. So I added 5 inches is what I added. And because I don't want it to pull up past my waist, I would like it to still sit at my waist. So I'm going to start my shearing 1.25 inches below where my waist sits. Technically. We'll see if this actually works. And then you'll know what not to do. This is where I'm at. I have all the shearing done. I use black elastic. So this is the front. I'm not sure where it sits. So I have all my shearing done. I have all my gathering stitches sewn in from the notch to the notch on the top. Which this is confusing actually in their website. So this is the facing for the front. I did interface it with the lightweight interfacing I could find because this is very lightweight and I'm kind of hoping it'll press okay. So now I have to sew these together. I gotta gather this edge and then sew this between the notches. That's quite a bit of gathering. So I gotta pull the gathering in and sew this on. But it's where this attaches. So this is the back, and it goes, So I'm kind of hoping once I have these pieces sewn on, I will be able to figure out, because it says there's a French seam that you do here. But I don't know. Anyway, I haven't gotten that far yet, and I will show you, or try to, and see if it makes sense. So the reason why I have this half on, half off is because this part is confusing in the directions. So on the pattern piece here, it says 3/8 of a seam allowance from this notch to the edge here. And then from this notch to here, 1/2 inch, or I guess I have it the other way around, don't I? Yeah, sorry. So how can you sew two separate seam allowance? So I was reading the directions online, and it's hard to tell, but I just sewed same seam allowance all the way along. And then, so I pinned it together, and it seems to fit together because that's where that notch is. And this here, you have to sew them together. And they call it a French seam. Technically, it would be, but I was thinking you didn't finish your facing seam. See how that's sewn together? I thought you would sew to there and leave that raw. That would make a mess. So here. So now that you see how it's kind of rounded. Oh, got pins stuck in me. Okay. So I'm going to show you on this side. So this is the front, and I finished that seam. I sewed it, and I did a 3/8 of a seam allowance all the way across the top, right there. So that is finished. So then you sew those finished seams together is what you do, I think. So this is the back yoke. Plus I interfaced it, so. And I don't have anything clipped yet because I wanted to make sure this was right before I started hacking away. So I just sewed, I did a 1/2 inch on the back, I believe. Yep, I did. So I probably should have done a 3/8, because then you're going to sew this part here to the front. And that is the French seam part that they're talking about. So there's the front. So the seam will be all finished, and then you could even hand sew that little bit and sew that together. So when you turn it inside out, where's my... So there, those two seams sandwiched together. I have it pinned, and then when you turn it inside out, it's going to be hard to see the curve. But yeah, so this is the back, and you just sew between there. Maybe that's plain as day to everyone else, but I thought that was confusing. So I have to, so you're supposed to finish the top, and then you could, well, you probably can't do the burrito method on this part because it's such a thin facing. But I have to fold that under and cover up and hand stitch that down. So I gotta trim all the, I just wanted to make sure it worked first. And I think it's going to work. But I did find that confusing in the directions. So it will be a French seam, but I thought you actually had to sew the French seam after. Anyway, don't make it hard. That's my advice to you if you're doing this. So I have to finish the facing and sew this little piece together. Then I'm going to sew the sleeves on the flat because of all the shearing, so I can make sure I match it a little bit when I'm sewing, and then I'll just sew under the arm and down the sides all at once, and then I have to hem it. So hopefully this is going to fit me after all of this. It's not really hard, it's just and all the pieces fit together really well. It's just that little bit was confusing to me, and I did look at the directions and I did figure it out. So don't make it hard is my advice to you.